The last piece of our puzzle is going to be playing a scale or setting up a scale guide so we can create variations on the major scale common pattern. As we have been, we're going to start in the studio and Soundtrap, and we're going to start with clicking add a new track. So to set up for our creating practice, I'm actually going to start with a drum beat, so we have something to create to. It's just a little bit more interesting to create when there's a drum pattern going. So I'm going to start with a 1-bar drum loop. I'm going to click here to change the loop bar to purple and stretch it back down to 1 bar. So it's just going here, stopping at the 2. Pattern I'm going to use here is just a kick on 1 and then a snare on 3, which is another drum common pattern that you're not going to do variations on today, but we're just going to use it for some back sounds. Okay, and now we're going to add our piano. So if you just scroll down a little bit here, you can see that add a new track, and we're going to do our piano and keyboard. You can record your variation on using the keys on the keyboard. If you want to do this on mobile or on a tablet, you can actually play your melody that way. What you would do is just record a drum beat first. Just record a quick drum beat, maybe do a variation on that kick on 1. So you can make another variation on that. And then from there you would play your melody. So to play your melody variation, we're going to stick with just the white keys. That's our major scale, or C major scale. And to make a good melody, you want to play just one note after the other, usually going in order, in one direction or the other. So those might not be the greatest melodies you've ever heard, but they sound like music you might hear somewhere. So I'm going to press record. I'm going to record a little melody pattern. Cool. So let's see how that turned out. That was better than what I played before. That's kind of nice. I'm going to click the piano roll here and zoom in, because it sounds like there was a little note that was hanging over, but I am not seeing it now. All right. Let's try it one more time. All right, it's possible that it recorded just a tiny little, oh, there it is, right here. We zoom in, we have a tiny little note fragment there. So if you hear that happen, just zoom in somewhere towards the end of your pattern. You can just use this tool right here, click, highlight, and delete. So now I have the melody that I want to hear. At that point, you can do your file save as. Our common pattern is the major scale, and this is my first one. So if you don't want to record your melody patterns by playing, what you can do is create a scale guide. So the scale guide will be a really good tool for lots of projects we're going to be doing in the future, and this is actually something that a lot of top music producers use, is a technique related to this, including Nick Mira, who produced most of Juice WRLD's hits. Also produced a lot for Lil Tecca. He's in the Internet Money record label. So this is just a useful tool. So I'm going to click here to create a pattern. And I am going to make a major scale, but I'm just going to make it all happen at the same time. So what I did was I made sure that there was a note across from each one of these white keys and not across from the black keys. So if I play that, it's going to sound terrible. To avoid hearing it, we're going to use this button over here, which is velocity. So velocity is how hard you hit something. Or how loud or soft it is how it turns out in computer music technology. So I'm going to click all of these notes. I just clicked V for velocity, and I'm going to drag these down until they get to 0. So now, or to 1. So now they are more or less inaudible. Now I want to actually clear this space so I can write notes. I'm going to adjust the end of this, drag it out to 3. I'm going to take my major scale here, and I'm going to move it over here. So it's actually outside of my loop bar. And now I have a scale guide. So if you want to use a different scale, you can just keep this, and it's going to move and stay in the right equation. So maybe you don't want to play in C major. Maybe you want to play in A flat major. Just make sure all of your notes go across from one of these notes. There you go. You have a 1-bar melody variation based on the major scale using a scale guide. So I would save that as 1.2. After that, you're going to turn these in the same way you have before. Go into the account page, either click the share link or click download and attach the MP3, and make sure that you turn in all 5 variations. And that is your second creating practice activity.